This is a demo of progress the development team has made during Sprint 3 of the Spotlight development effort. If this is the first demo you've seen about Spotlight, Spotlight is a plugin that adds features to Blacklight to enable librarians, curators, and others to easily produce feature-rich websites that highlight digital collections from institutional repositories or other data stores. We're recording a live demo at the end of each development sprint to keep those interested in Spotlight up to date with our development progress. As with Sprint 2, the sprint was a quick one, a Monday holiday giving us less than a week. Nonetheless, the development team has again made significant progress. So what we're looking at right here is our default Spotlight exhibit. As with last week's sprint, for the demo, I'm going to use an exhibit on which a curator has already added some features, added some pages, about pages, some browse categories, and some curated features. So there was significant backend work done by the team this week, but most of the features this week that are easy to demo are in the administration and curation sections of the site. So let's start there. So I'm already logged in as an administrator, and I'm going to go to the administration section. And you'll see here one of the new things we've added this week, which is a dashboard page. So the idea here is that depending on the user role, whether they're an administrator or curator, what they see on this page eventually will differ a little bit. But the idea is that we want to give the administrator or curator a quick overview of what's been happening on the site recently, which could be especially useful for exhibits that involve several curators working together over an extended period of time, and give them a way to perform some of the most common actions, such as creating a new feature page or a new about page. We'll let them do that directly from the dashboard. So there'll be some other information here eventually. We hope to have some site statistics that show how the site is being used by site visitors and things like that to give the curators an idea of how their site's being used. So another administration feature we finished up this week is managing users. So here we have two existing users in our exhibit as exhibit builders. One's an administrator, that's me, and we have another user that's in the curator role. But now we can easily change the role that our users have in the exhibit. So let's say in this case that curator 1, I now trust that user to do everything that I can do, and maybe I want that particular user to take on more of a primary role in the building of this exhibit. So I can easily make that user an administrator, and now that user has all the administration privileges that I have. We could also add new users and easily change or assign them a role. So that's a nice new feature. In the curation section, we've added several significant improvements. For managing items, we now can selectively hide items from the public view. So what this means is if we want to keep a subset of items, maybe for some period of time, we want to sort of streamline what we're showing to site visitors, we can go through and select items that we want to be hidden from public view, and they're noted as private. This could also be useful, say there's some curators working on the site and they're adding exhibit-specific fields to items, but there's questions about those or things that have to be worked out, and maybe they just want to hide items from view for some short period of time while the curation of those items is being finalized. So that's a really easy feature, I think, that curators will find really helpful. We also added the ability for the curator to add, well, last week we added the ability for curators to add exhibit-specific fields So here, display case is not part of the repository record for items in this collection, but we gave the curator ability to add fields and selectively decide what fields should be displayed in the details and results views. And we showed how you could, last week we showed how you could drag and drop fields to specify the display order of those fields on these pages. So one thing we've added to this week is the ability to change display labels for the metadata fields. So this is just in the context of the exhibit, but for example, in the context of this exhibit, let's say the geographic subject field we want to call, I don't know, geographic region. So we can easily change that, and when we save our changes, show you now, we go to an item, now the label here is geographic region instead of geographic subject. So that's a nice, easy to use feature, I think, that curators will give curators the ability to really customize the way that they're presenting their items in the exhibit. While we're on an item detail page, I want to show, let's actually look at a different item that I've already added some tags for. So this is the end user view, and if we enter the curation view for this item, last week I think we showed how we added the exhibit specific fields that we added are available for populating here on the item, as well as the fields for tags. But one nice thing we added this week for the tags is using auto-suggest for the tags. So now when you start typing a tag, we look at the existing set of tags and auto-suggest tags that you might be looking for to add. So that's a nice feature in terms of making it easier for curators to add tags, and also ensuring consistency, making sure that they use tags that already exist in the set, so we have consistent labels for the tags. So that's a great feature there. And then related to that, if we go back to the curation section, look at our tags, we now can we can see all our tags that have been used, and now we can easily click on a tag, and then we get a result set of items that have been tagged with that particular tag. So that's a handy way to see what we've tagged. The next feature I want to show is, well, one thing that you'll see as we go through the different features is we now have breadcrumbs, and so anywhere we are on this site, you'll now see we have a breadcrumb trail that is helpful for end users of the site to give them some context of where they are on the site, and also provides another way for them to navigate the site. So if we head back to the curation section here, I'm going to show next feature that we've added this week, which is related to the about pages. So last week well, maybe the last 2 weeks we've talked about adding about pages and showing how these look on the site. What we've added this week is this section called contacts. So the idea here is that we want site visitors to the exhibit to be able to find out who they can talk to maybe get more information about the exhibit, or to ask questions about items in the exhibit collection. So we have a way now to add new contacts for the exhibit, and so we have one there, but let me just add another one so I can show the flexibility of this feature. So let me just add some data for a second contact here, And when I save this, you'll see we now have two contacts. And managing the contacts works the same way as our other administration features, in that you can choose to show or hide different contacts. So let's just say right now we're just showing Jane, and I'll show you how that looks on the About pages. So now we have the information for Jane Curator shown here. So site visitors, have an easy way to contact somebody about the exhibit with any questions they might have. And then if we go back, let's say we also want to show John as like a secondary contact here, and let's just say actually Jane decides John should be the primary contact, so we can drag and drop as we do with other curation features and make John first, and then we save our pages and we go and look here, and now we have John listed first in the sidebar here. So I think that's a really handy feature, and it'll allow people to sort of easily change and over different periods of time hide people from being a contact and so on. Makes that really easy. And then I want to show a couple improvements we've made to our widget features, our widget framework. So here's a couple of feature pages that we built in the previous weeks. We have this feature on the Maps of Nicholas Anson, and we have this other feature. Let's go to the subpage here, where we don't have much on this feature page yet. And if we enter into curation mode, one thing I can show you real quick here that we've added, a minor thing, but I think will be really helpful as we add more and more widgets, is we now have a label for the widgets. So when you're working with the widgets, you can remember what type of widget you're working with. As we add more and more widgets, that will be probably more and more useful. But the big thing we added this week related to the widgets is a new widget called the multi-up item grid widget. And what this does is this gives you a way to select items, repository items that are in your exhibit collection, and we go through and we can pick some different items from our collection, and trying to get some different names here. And so we can, the idea here is that you can pick from I think this says 1 to 5. I think we're enforcing 2 to 5 because we already have a widget that allows one item with some text next to it. So 2 to 5 items that you want to display in a single row. So you can pick however many you want. And let me just show you how that looks. So we save our changes and we go to this feature page, and you'll see now we have those three items that we had selected to display are nicely aligned in a row here. And so this is a pretty common thing I've seen in a lot of exhibit sites where they want to kind of give a little preview of different items in their exhibit, often surrounded by some text describing information about why those might be significant or what they represent about the collection. But just to show the rest of the flexibility of this, we can, let's say we wanted to show 5 here instead of 3. We think that might look better. And then we also have the option here to display a caption beneath them. Right now we're just using title. Eventually we hope to allow the curator to select from more of the metadata fields for maybe unusual cases where a date or some other metadata field is more useful for the context they're showing the items in the grid. But we'll show our title, and we'll show 5 images instead of 3. And now we go to this feature page. You'll see we now have 5 items nicely aligned in a row. And one other little feature I want to show about this is related to how the widget framework, how we're hoping to make the widget framework adapt to the different layout options that we offer for feature pages, which is with a sidebar or without a sidebar. So if we go to this feature page, and oops, actually, I don't want to do that. I want to hide the sidebar here. Say we really want, for this feature page, we want to use the full width of the page to really describe what we'll talk about on that page and use the full width. So we'll save our changes here, and now we go back and we go to the Nix Early Maps page. We now eliminated the sidebar, so we have more real estate to work with, and our multi-up item grid widget just expands to fill the available space. So that's, I think, a really great widget. There's a lot of fine-tuning we'll need to do related to the widgets and the way we display things on the page. But we've only really spent a little bit of time working with widgets so far in the project, and I'm sure there's a lot we can do to improve them, as well as adding additional widgets that I hope to show you in future sprint demos. So I think that's it for Sprint 3. Again, this was a short sprint, but the development team still managed to add a handful of useful features, and we'll try to do that again next week in Sprint 4. So look for our Sprint 4 demo at the end of next week.